Today is my birthday, and I thought about what could I share with you on this personal day, and what came up was the topic: if you don't know who you are, the world will tell you who you are. I want to speak about the power of claiming your name. And as you know, I choose the name Toma Ruma Toha. So I'd like to take you on a journey through my consciousness or neurosis, depending from where within your integration work you're looking at it. My given name is Thomas. And Thomas, as you know, was a disciple from Yeshua, or Jesus Christ. And Thomas' real name was Yehuda, or Judas. Yes, that means there was more than one Judas amongst the disciples. The origin of the name Thomas is the Aramaic word Toma, meaning twin. And what I have read about it, it was symbolically because Thomas was very alike Jesus in spirit. And the nickname helped distinguish the two Judases within the group. I'm not a Christian, but I'm definitely in love with Yeshua. Not the version from the church, Jesus Christ, which is still good, but Yeshua. And I like the idea that all of us carry Christ or Buddha consciousness within us. Toma. This name walked with Jesus, and from a human perspective, what an honor to carry that spirit around. It's a constant reminder for me of my path every time I hear the name. And this name comes with a trait: doubting Thomas. And as far as I can remember, I always had the need and the desire to really dig deep into subjects and to investigate and play with different perspectives to make up my mind. And that is a curse and a blessing at the same time. Your name comes with a trait. Take the archangel names, for example: Michael, Mikael, Uriel, Daniel, Ezekiel, El standing for Elohim, God, Michael, Mikael, the healing of God, Gabriel, the power of God, Daniel, God is my judge. That's powerful. So look around your inner circle and have a closer look on someone whose name is Michael or Gabriel. And let me squeeze this in. To all the fact checkers who disagree with what I'm saying, the context I share provides meaning to me. And if you waste your time and energy to prove me wrong, instead of finding meaning within your own name, well, Let me call in the spirit from Rob van Vieren. He would say, stay damaged, keep healing. I will see you on the other side. And to all the others who are listening or watching with curiosity, please do your own research. Don't just consume and adapt to my interpretation and information that I'm sharing. So, Toma represents the physical aspect of this manifestation. It is the flesh, bone, spacesuit and the autopilot. Or you could say temple. Old English, temple, is spelled T-E-M-P-E-L. Templum, Latin for worship, El for Elohim, a place to worship God. Temple. And who is the temple guardian? The mind, the ego. And who lives in this temple? God, soul. Toha. A long time ago, I had a repetitive dream in which I was a young caveman. Me and my tribe, we hunted mammoth. And one we scared over a cliff, and where it fell and died, we worked on the corpse to cut off the meat. Graphic. After we disemboweled the dead animal, I crawled inside the open rib cage, and with a stone tool I began cutting the meat from the ribs so that the guys from the other side can pull off the meat more easily. And suddenly I hear screaming, rambling, people running around. And I remember they called me. Toha, nik dem dor. Toha, nik dem dor. I have no clue what nik dem dor is supposed to mean. But Toha was clearly my name. So I peeked out of the corpse and I saw in close distance 2 saber-toothed tiger approaching. And let me tell you, that dream never ended well. And for a long time I ridiculed that dream until I was sitting with an indigenous elder, and he told me, man, this is no joke. This is how far the soul lets you remember. This is your spirit name. And boy, that did something to me. And I'm crazy enough to let this concept, idea in, because it opened a knot within me. And I cannot really explain what kind of knot that was. And maybe it emerged from me being biased, wishful thinking, and now I romanticize it, maybe, but I remember the feeling, and I still feel it, a feeling of liberation. it felt like remembering. So Toha is the spirit. And I'm sure you all have seen images of the human body, and that there is an energy field emerging from it like a torus that embraces the whole body. So that energy field is generated by the soul. So this energy bubble, Toha, within it, the physical aspect, Toma, is walking. So Toma walks within Toha and carries the soul around in this reality, in the physical reality. Ruma. Ruma is a combination of two words, one being Old Norse, room, for room, space, spaciousness. And the other is Ruma from Shuru Ruma, the wheat spirit. According to the Hunikuin, to some Hunikuin tribes in the Amazon rainforest. Room, Old Norse, spaciousness. I did a couple of ancestry DNA tests, and it turned out that I'm carrying 65% Scandinavian or Germanic genes, and more than average Neanderthal traits. Spaciousness, room. There is the world as we perceive it, and there's the world how it actually is. And in between, there's a thin fabric or space. And some Eastern spiritual teachings, they call it the void. It's where you enter when you meditate. And that's why Viking in the void. Let me tell this very quick. Vikings were not an ethnic group. It is an occupation. So when Norsemen, farmers, blacksmiths, merchants got into their longboats and sailed to raid somewhere else, then they went Viking. Like you go berserk, you go Viking. And my psychedelic Viking times are long over. And today I worship sobriety. Sobriety is the end boss. Sobriety is the end boss. And I do once or twice a year, I do use or sit with plant medicines. But I don't joke around with dosages. That's why people call me the Viking in the void. Shururuma, the wheat spirit. I'm going to make a separate video around this topic. When we when we smoke weed, and again, research on your own. Research on your own. This is what I understood and what I experienced. When we smoke weed, our critical, logical, rational and judgmental mind that sits in the frontal cortex, its volume, it's turned down enough so we can enter, let's say, a more receptive vantage point. The void. So altogether, Toma, Ruma, Toha. Toma being the physical aspect, Ruma the space in between, and spirit. Toma the twin or mirror of spirit. And from that my dharma emerges, my spiritual work, my self-discovery path. And boy, this work is not easy. It stinks sometimes. And I do make mistakes. I am not a statement of perfection. And not too long ago, I was even thinking of using Toma, Rama, Toha. And that's a TED Talk on its own. I have a huge list of solid arguments why I could carry this name. But at some point, intuitively, I realized that these title, even Rama, love, Ram, love, this foreign sacred word, I believe needs to be given to you by a spiritual master. And my spiritual teacher is not in the physical realm anymore. And I haven't received a signal from him yet to claim that name. And the fact that my ego desires that name is already a trap. It's already a trap. Now let's go back to the topic. If you don't know who you are, the world will tell you who you are. There is this biblical story of Yaakov or Jacob, the deceiver, who climbed a ladder up to the heavens, and almost at the top, he wrestled an archangel. And he wins. And he demands from the archangel, I want to change my name from Jacob to Israel, Elohim, the one who wrestled God. And then or Kali, and then he keeps climbing the ladder until he sees God. The kingdom of God is within you. That's a powerful story. So I hear my older self echoing from the past, and this older self of mine would probably tell me, Toma, sounds like you have a serious identity crisis. And you are a very good example for when taking psychedelics misses the mark. But if I look at history and look at people that inspire me, who changed their name. For example, more recent characters, Ben Kingsley, Michael Caine, Elton John, and even Lady Gaga, Cassius Clay, Muhammad fucking Ali, Bob Dylan, Robert Allen Zimmerman or Zimmerman. And yes, they had the different reasons to choose artist names or whatever, but they all wrestled the angel. So what is the story of Jacob worth when it's only preached but not lived in its fullness? What is the meaning behind debating the concept of Leela, the cosmic dance in this illusion, Maya, if one only dances to the tune of cultural and social programming? What is it worth to speak about indigenous traditions, some of them in different places of the world, carrying the custom of attaching certain attributes according to their deeds to their name? It takes some balls to cross the border of social and cultural programming. Let me tell you, there will be this one moment, death. And let me say this with all the love, compassion that rises from the soul. When you're facing death, I hope that will be at old age, surrounded by your loved ones. Not in pain, not in agony, not in fear, sickness, regret, and doubt, but with grace, courage, and glory. I wish that to all of you, to everyone. So when this moment of not ending but transitioning is occurring, you will be handed a gift. A review of your life, like a best of movie picture. And within this experience lies a revelation, a realization of the moment you leave the body. It's like, oh, I'm still here. Oh shit, I'm not my body, I'm not my mind. Oh, this is what the game is about. Oh, life is a playground. Oh, but out of fear I only played to the norms that were given to me, social, cultural, etc. And what you hear when people with near-death experiences share, very often they face the question, have I been taught to find inner peace and happiness solely through chasing after financial assets so I can hunt for more experiences instead of simply expressing spirit. So don't give a fuck what others think. But please don't give a fuck with your judgment. That is something I am working with. Alchemizing judgment. And what helps me, I always picture a playground, and I cannot judge a child that refuses to climb up the jungle gym because it's afraid to fall. I have compassion for that child. If someone doesn't want to play, it's their choice. But don't let the masses and collective concepts hold you back to play for yourself. And one day, maybe one day, I will go back and carry my given name again. Or I choose a name like Gustav Detlef Karen Heideschreck. Why? Because I fucking can. However, the moment I start calling myself Starseed, and the moment I start speaking light language, please, without a warning, punch me in the face. I don't mind if this is someone else's game, another manifestation of God, I really don't mind. But if you see me doing this, don't hold back. And for now, Toma Ruma Toha remains the current statement of my integration work. And I remember, I remember Ram Dass speaking, and he said, after being a rock star psychologist from Harvard and being a frontman of the counterculture in the 60s and 70s, and after being a spiritual teacher for many decades, I did not solve one of my neuroses, but I learned how to live with them. That is a game changer. And it took me a long time to integrate my darkness. We are not meant to be holy. We are meant to be whole. It took me a long time to integrate my darkness and to love myself even with my bullshit. And the work is far from over yet. Oof. Now, Every time I see someone online congratulating themselves to their own birthday, I have multiple layers watching that online. It's courageous, there's strength in it, but also a weird aftertaste of sadness. But this is only my opinion. So to conquer my opinion, I have to expose myself to this experience. And with that, happy birthday, Toma Ruma Toa. Keep rocking, baby. Keep rocking. You're doing good. And to all the others, have a blessed fucking day.